All right. Our friend Chris Wittyngham is joining us. He's in sunny South Florida, the epicenter of the soccer world, the American soccer world. And he's on the Toyota of Hollywood hotline. Wittyngham is a soccer broadcaster for CBS and MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. The MLS Championship can be seen on Apple TV tomorrow. Pregame starts at 1 p.m. with our friend Kevin Egan. And it doesn't get any bigger for Inter Miami fans than tomorrow, 2:30, Chase Stadium in Fort Lauderdale. By the way, last I saw, Inter Miami is a minus 145 favorite to win. Vancouver Whitecaps are plus 300. What do you think the vibe is going to be like tomorrow, Wittyngham? We haven't experienced down here an MLS championship, and certainly there's never been one with Leo Messi in it. So I was asking Kevin Egan yesterday, like, are there going to be celebrities here? Is this going to be like filled with pomp and circumstance, unlike anything we've seen in soccer down here?
I think so. I think they're going to make every call that they can possibly make. At the semifinal, they had Carlos Alcaraz, the tennis player, there. David Beckham has certainly had his fair few celebrities come through, and I feel like if you're going to make some calls, there are obviously a lot of people that are in the States for the World Cup draw that was held this afternoon. Any of those people that want to come around tomorrow, I imagine, have a standing invite and will try and get through the door. So, yeah, I think it'll be an incredible vibe and atmosphere. And I think a lot of people will probably go into it thinking that it is a coronation, that it is just Miami are going to win. It's going to be easy. I'm here to tell you that it won't be. It will not be easy. But I think that'll kind of be what the vibe will be tomorrow, is that you're watching Inter Miami play a home game. You're one home game away from winning a championship. And with Lionel Messi, that usually means you go win. But I don't think it will be that simple, but I think that'll kind of be the feeling walking in, that people are there for a party. People are there for, we're about to watch Miami and Messi win a championship.
Yeah, I was going to ask that too, because I don't want to jinx us, but the stadium's opening next year. Messi came over. It's the stadium Messi built. Now he wins the championship. Like, it's lining up to be perfect. Does Vancouver know that they're supposed to be the duck on this beautiful mission of perfection?
No, they do not. They do not know that at all, because Vancouver are a team that have been ruining the party all season long. As a matter of fact, Hawk and I went to the second leg when they played in the CONCACAF Champions Cup in May, and Vancouver played Miami off the park that day. That was another one where Miami were on the brink of going to the Club World Cup, and it was, a chance for Miami to once again prove themselves as one of the top teams in this part of the world. And Vancouver played them off the pitch. They've been really good all season long, finishing second in the Western Conference, knocking LAFC out, who are another team. I think some people were kind of hoping that this final would be Miami against LAFC and Sun Heung-min. Again, Vancouver were much better than them for most of the game before a red card. And in the Western Conference final as well against San Diego, another team, expansion team, great atmosphere. And they just went in there, cool heads, and played them off the park, no problem. So they are certainly well capable of doing that, this Vancouver team. But yeah, I agree with you, Crowder, that sort of that narrative is perfect. It's perfect for Inter Miami as a club to have reached this point 6 years into their history. When they came into the league, David Beckham involved in the ownership, and there was this idea that it was going to be so easy to attract players and build this amazing team from the get-go. That didn't happen. It took them about 4 or 5 years for them to really find their stride. But everything that Miami could deliver as a soccer market, they could potentially deliver over the course of the next 6 months, starting with this playoff run and going into the opening of that new stadium that's supposed to open by the Miami airport. It's anything any soccer fan could have possibly hoped for when they started as a club 6 years ago. And it just requires them to go out and win tomorrow.
There's a lot of layers to this game. Yesterday, Kevin Egan, the first thing he brought up was Thomas Mueller and Leo Messi, and how Mueller has honestly dominated that matchup. And I think it's an interesting wrinkle into this entire matchup. But who wants this more? Let me frame it that way. Who wants this more from Inter Miami's perspective? Obviously, Jorge Mas and all that and the fans. But Leo Messi, I think, genuinely, we've talked about this on the show, Woody, how he really wants to win. Like, he's playing his ass off in these games. This hasn't been just a vacation for him. But Javier Mascherano, who has been ridiculed, criticized. We talked about how he replaced Tata Martino, who had won an MLS Cup, won the Supporter Shield last year, set an MLS record, and then really, I think the narrative was Messi just wanted his boy here, who really didn't have the resume to have this position yet. How badly does he want it because I think it might trump anybody else on that Inter Miami squad.
Yeah, I think you saw so much of the evidence for that, or for really both of the narratives you just laid out in the Eastern Conference final game against New York City. First off, with the incredible verbal spat between Leo Messi and the captain for New York City, Maxi Morales, it has since been translated what was said, which is basically, hey, I thought Rodrigo De Paul kind of followed you around, not the other way around. And Lionel Messi was saying, you got to respect me. And Rodrigo De Paul said, yeah, I could probably buy your team. Like, there was an incredible amount of verbal smack going back and forth.
That's good trash talking right there.
Right.
Like
so basically, Rodrigo De Paul and Maxi Morales are from the same club in Argentina. And Maxi Morales is saying, well, if you're going to leave Europe, why didn't you go there? You're not actually a proper fan of that team if you didn't go. And he goes, well, if I never end up playing there, I'll just buy the team, which is an incredible comeback. But I think so. You saw sort of that level of sort of intensity between the star players, but also every single goal was celebrated by Mascherano like it was the winning goal of the World Cup final. It was an incredible triumph for him and his coaching. I think in some ways it's a very difficult job to manage Inter Miami because it's much about the politics as it is about sort of your decisions and what you think about the game and how to implement the style of play. And the most difficult thing that's happened over this last month is that Luis Suarez has basically proven to be a 12th man, as it were, to sort of borrow a phrase from basketball. He's sort of the first guy off the bench, a guy if you need a goal, but the team functions better without essentially Lionel Messi's best friend in the team, which is a difficult thing to do. It's difficult to go to Lionel Messi and say, hey, there's some pretty solid evidence now over the last few months that your best friend in the team would probably be better served on the bench. Are you okay with this? And they decided over the 2 weeks of the international window that, yes, that was okay. And they've since gone out and destroyed Cincinnati and destroyed New York City. So I think for him, not just in terms of that sort of idea of nepotism, of it being, Messi's friend that's the coach of the team, but also over the course of the year, Mascherano was really criticized. It's a difficult team to coach because it's a lot of older players. You're trying to figure out a style of play in a young man's athletic sport, how to figure out how to get all these old guys on the pitch and work together. It has not been easy from day one. There have been several fans that were calling for him to be fired over the course of the season, and now he's a game away from winning the title. So, yeah, I think definitely for both of them, but I think the outward demonstration will definitely be from Mascherano after the game in terms of how vociferously he will celebrate if they go on to win.
Again, the MLS Championship is tomorrow. It kicks off at 2:30 in Fort Lauderdale, but you can watch Apple TV. Apple TV has the coverage beginning at 1 p.m., the pregame, 1 p.m. with our friend Kevin Egan. Wittyngham, before we run out of time, they had the World Cup draw today, and Solana had mentioned it in the headlines. What is your take on the U.S.'s draw?
Pretty solid. I think in terms of if the hopes are to advance, the United States should be capable of winning all of the games in their group. And that is not necessarily a given when you look at some of the teams that could have come out of, let's say, so they're a pot one team. The 9 best teams in the world were in that pot, so they weren't going to play any of them. So it's kind of that next group of teams. And right now, it looks as though the best of that bunch is Morocco. You avoided Morocco. You avoided the strong South American teams that were in that pot as well. And instead, your pot 2 was Australia. And that is as best case of a scenario as there is. Australia are, I think, a team that has less talent than the United States. And so you're off to a good start there. Then you're playing Paraguay as your second game, which again, middle of the pack team in South America, not a team that I think the United States should be overawed by. And then the last team will be the winner of one of the European playoffs for the final spot in March, most likely to be Turkey, or as they now say, Turkey. So I think that's another one where Turkey have a solid team with solid players. I actually think that their talent level is maybe slightly above the U.S., but at home, you should be able to at least get a result against them. So now you're getting to the place where you're starting to dream a little bit, which would not have been the case probably even in June when the United States got hammered by Switzerland and lost as well in a home game against Turkey. They've put in some good performances over the last few months. They had a good Gold Cup. Pochettino, the manager, seems to have things going in the right direction. So I think you can, in the overall, feel pretty good about the U.S. advancing. And now you're looking at it going, all right, so if they advance and if they, win their first knockout game, then their first real difficult challenges in the round of 16, probably against Belgium. If you win the group and you play Belgium in the last 16, that's the sort of game that the growth of American soccer will be measured against. Can the United States beat a team like Belgium, which is a pretty high-level European team, if not a great high-level European team, in a game of consequence at a World Cup to get to a quarterfinal. And that's the whole ball game. That's what this entire tournament is about for the United States. So it seems as though for the moment, they will be in a position to take advantage of the moment, which is the home World Cup, presuming they live up to expectations, which is obviously not a given.
Real quick, Witty, because we're up against break, we got to go. Would there be, if Inter Miami wins tomorrow, would there be a parade? Would there be
I would presume so.
A giant local celebration?
I would presume so. I don't know. I don't have any insight into what the club has planned, but you would have to think to be able to have a parade with Lionel Messi at the center of it, you could probably draw a crowd.
I didn't know if it would be like a parade or if it would just be
maybe at the stadium.
Celebration at a stadium.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But you'd have to think with the draw that is Lionel Messi, with the way that you'll probably capture some attention in this community on a Saturday afternoon with no University of Miami football or anything like that, that you should be able to draw a crowd at some point next week to celebrate Inter Miami winning a championship, that obviously being presumptive that Miami go on to do it in the first place.
Yeah, I didn't even want to bring it up. I don't want to jinx them. Chris Wittyngham from Apple TV. Again, Apple TV coverage starts at 1 p.m. tomorrow, pregame from Chase Stadium in Fort Lauderdale. Thank you, Witty. I'll see you at the Brownies at the stadium.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. Chris Wittyngham. Talking a little footy. Talk a little footy on the show, like serious footy. Like we weren't even goofing around, like serious footy. I enjoyed that.
Best segment we've ever done.
Saying, but he did it vociferously.
Did do it vociferously. Excellent use of that word.
Hey, I stole it from him.
All right. Oh, you did? I didn't even hear him say it.
Yeah,
I did hear him say much. I did hear him say much like the NBA, the 12th man. He got that wrong. It's the sixth man in the NBA. So.
Well, I think he was just using an example. The NBA uses a sixth man. In soccer, there's 11 players on the pitch, so he was saying the 12th man like the NBA.
I don't think that's the way that he said it. Though I understood what he was trying to say, but I think he got it wrong. Yeah. But I didn't want to correct him while he was on. I want to make fun of him while he's gone.
The 12th man's a crowd at an American football game.
That's right,
which is why he didn't say like the NFL. He said it like the NBA.
Stop defending him, all right? Stop defending him.
Like
he knows more than you.
NCAA.
And he hates you. All right, we got to take a break.
Y'all are trying to take football away from me. I'm not having it today.